Hey Radiant Souls, it's Kashir. Welcome back to Energy of Allowing. So this is yet another day of Vlog Every Day in May, VEDM. And today I'm going to be talking about expectations and how they can be the thief of joy. So I have had to learn some hard lessons about expectations, especially in relationships and friendships. And it honestly can be really tough to come to terms with this whole letting go of expectations, because a lot of times we expect people to treat us the way that we treat them, and when that doesn't happen, it's like sometimes we're just like, I don't understand. Why is it so hard to do X, Y, and Z? So we get upset at the other person because they can't be the way that we are, and them not being able to fulfill whatever expectation that we have in our mind is actually more so, it's more so about them and how they operate more than it's personal against us. I'm going to talk about the two lessons that I had to learn. Basically, in my intimate relationship with my life partner, soulmates, Mark, basically, it's interesting because when we've been in a relationship for 11 plus years, and there's these expectations that happens, especially when you start having kids. It's like then the expectation, and then also if you become really dependent on the other person, then it's like your expectations just keep increasing. So it's like, if I'm used to us operating a certain way, then I'm going to have the expectations that you're going to help me do dishes, you're going to help me just basically do everything. But a lot of times when you don't communicate what you actually expect, if you are just walking around like with this attitude, you're not really effectively communicating to your partner how you're feeling and what expectations you have and how you want your day to operate. Now, I think it's important to communicate about expectations because you don't want the other person feeling like they're just doing wrong when really they just don't know what you want from them. Like, how do you want them to help you every day? Will they agree to be able to help you in that way? So I think the most important thing that I learned in relationships about expectations is to check in with your partner and let them know like how you kind of thought you guys were going to be working together, and see what his expectations are, because a lot of times he could have his expectations, you could have yours, and they're just not in alignment. Like, and I think it's so funny because we sometimes with our expectations, you guys, I think I have a tendency to like look all over the place because I feel weird just talking to a camera, like, okay. But yeah, I think what happens with expectations is we start to gather all these expectations in our minds, and our partners never agree to this list of things that they're expected to do. So because they have no idea what your expectations are, or even if they did know what your expectations are, their life purpose isn't to fulfill all of your expectations. You have to actually sit down with them and have a conversation, because expectations are like are burdens, really, because like the other person has no freedom if they're just expected to be everything you want them to be. And that's one of the things I had to learn. Like, instead of being mad because these expectations that no one agreed on wasn't being met, I had to just say, okay, baby, this is how I thought we were going to be working together. This is what I thought you would do, and this is what I thought we would do. This is what I thought you would do, and this is what I was going to do. And maybe we can come to some kind of agreement about what do we both want to do? Like, how can we make our kind of intermingling and working together more harmonious? So yeah, and it could be little things like, say for instance, doing the dishes. Like, the funny thing is, it's like, I think in a relationship, it's either both of you guys have a lot of expectations or one person has the most expectations. So for me, I have expectations of Mark, but I never expect him to have like really any hardcore, like solid expectations for me. Like I hope that he doesn't expect me to do dishes every day. Like I already know that I can never be caught in that box of expectations. I just don't, that's not gonna happen. So I think it's funny that I'm like, your expectations, no thanks. But like I get mad if he doesn't do whatever it is that I think that, you know, how I think he should be operating every day. So anyway, in relationships there has to be freedom. So I think it's best to just actually talk to your partner and decide this is how we're gonna do it. And then boom, now you already know what's going on. Alright you guys, so now let's jump into expectations when it comes to friends. I think when it comes to texting, for me, one of the things that kind of gets under my skin a little bit is like if I start a conversation with you about making plans or like getting together and you get back to me 4 days later, a week later, I personally take that as like you don't value my time. Now it may not mean that, and it may not mean that at all, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of times our mind, say if I send out a text message and I don't get a response back, well now naturally my mind wants to figure out why. Like, okay, what could be the reason? But then like your mind could be kind of geared to think negative reasons. So that's one of the things that you can shift. Don't gear your minds to assume the worst. Reprogram your mind so it can start assuming the best and not the worst. Because the worst would be like, oh, this person doesn't think I'm important, this person doesn't respect my time, this person this person that. You know, those are kind of negative assumptions. And if sometimes because your mind just wants an answer, and if you think the negative assumptions first, it'll just be like, yeah, that's why. They don't respect my time, they don't think I'm important. And then you start to feel bad because you literally just told yourself a lie and felt bad about it. Like, it's not based on any fact. The person did not say, I just don't feel like talking to you because you're not important. Like, they did not say that. But I think a lot of times that's what we do. Like, we'll make assumptions about why a person, their actions. We'll make an imaginary reason for why this person did this, X, Y, Z, and then we'll believe it, and then we'll feel bad about it, as if it's true, like as if it's the actual truth. So one of the things I had to learn was to just let go of those expectations and to not take things personal, which is something I learned from reading the book, The Four Agreements. So that's one of the things I had to practice. I do find that like falling back when it comes to a situation that is really getting under your skin is like the best thing you can do. Just take a step back from it. Take away all the things that you're personalizing that's really not about you. Them not getting back to you is really about them and how they manage their time. Like maybe whatever. It don't even matter. Don't even try to figure it out. Just know that it's not about you. Half the time it's not about you. Seriously. Now you could also put out there, you could talk to your friend and tell them that, listen, well, that could be interesting too, because you don't want to try to change the person. But you can at least tell the person how you feel. But at the same time, you still got to let them be free to be them. And you may just have to accept them the way they are because they may not be able to communicate like the way that you do. So that's been something that I've had to learn. And it's been a hard lesson. Because when I was taking it personal, oh man, I was so mad. But you guys, so yes, I just wanted to say that a lot of times I've learned over the years that expectation leads to disappointment. Because a lot of times our expectations are not things that the other person has agreed to. They're literally just things in our mind that we think this is the way it should be because this is the way I was raised. And if the other person was raised differently or they operate differently, they're not going to be operating in the way that you expect. So that is one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys. Try to drop your expectations and just communicate more about what you are wanting, and then let the person be able to kind of agree with how they want to show up for whatever the friendship is or the relationship is. Alright you guys, I hope this video was helpful and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.